And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today we are discussing with Fujiama Mama. We're Kathia today. So today we're discussing with Kathia Star. What Paul couldn't do. So take it
Yeah,
away, Kathia.
what Paul could not do. Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. Good afternoon, everybody. This one's gonna be very interesting. Um, I as you well know, I've been doing shadow work. I'm still doing shadow work. There's a lot to unearth and a lot to uncover. And now that I've been through a great deal of it, um, I have been given the tools to identify what I've already been through. Okay, so yeah, and it's it's kind of strange to think um, that divine source can in fact work logically, because sometimes we think, I mean, the general idea is that spirit is not necessarily very logical, but it can be if you put it in the context of it. Um, that when a person is being taught something at a, say, like at a university or a lecture, or maybe you're writing an essay or a theory or a, or a thesis paper or whatever. Basically the paper is constructed in such a way that it is the introduction is, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. Then the middle is, I'm going to tell you. And then the end is, I'm going to tell you what I just told you. And that's how you write a paper. And that's how teachers teach. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to teach you. Then I'm going to teach you. And then I'm going to tell you what I just taught you.
Hmm.
The
Right.
difference between going to school and living life in this particular way is that, um, the introduction is more physical, it's more labor intensive. Okay, so you're going to walk the walk, and then you're going to sit down and you're going to think about the walk that you just walked and all the lessons that you learned while walking it. Then we're going to process those lessons, and I'm going to tell you what you learned by you walking the walk.
Hmm.
Did you understand that part?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm
instead
gonna
of the
teach you what
teacher,
you.
well, yeah, I'm not going to teach you. I'm going to point you in a direction. You can go this way and you can go this way. You know,
Okay.
if you want to learn this, you have to go this way. If you want to learn this, you got to go this way. Okay. And then
Aha.
you walk that
Okay.
walk, and you learn the lessons, and you sit down and you say, okay, I learned this lesson and I learned this lesson. And then the teacher comes back to you with a book and says, okay, now I'm going to tell you what you learned.
Gotcha. Okay. Huh. Okay.
And then you springboard from that. That
So
way you're
instead
doing the
of
work.
you
Yep.
learning on your own what you learned from the book, now the teacher's going to tell you her or his
No,
opinion.
no,
No?
no. Well, we're talking about spirit. We're talking
Okay.
about divine source. Divine source
Okay.
comes in and tells you what you learned. This is what you learned.
Okay. Okay.
On
Okay.
top
I get it
of on
now.
top of what you learned for
Learned.
yourself. You learned for yourself,
Gotcha.
and then the teacher comes in and says, and then some. You also
And
learned
then
this and this
some.
and this
Okay.
and this and
Okay.
this.
Gotcha.
And then you
Gotcha.
sit back and you go, okay, that way when you go into another situation that's like it, you
Um,
have different perspectives to apply that knowledge. You apply that wisdom that you gained
mhm.
from walking that path. Okay, and that's where
Okay.
I'm at now. That's where I'm at now, is that divine source has blessed me, gifted me with instructing me on things that I have missed because I'm a human person. I'm not going to learn, I'm not going to
Right.
glean all the lessons the first time around. I may have to do it a
Right.
couple of times in order to cover all the bases that I need to cover so that I can move on. So basically, we're reviewing.
Huh.
It's that time in the school year, at the end of the school year, where that time of testing is coming up. So it's time to
Uh-huh.
review. Okay. It's the summary of the entire year, not just a semester.
Oh, oh, I hated those.
Oh yeah, well I did too, but sometimes
Uh,
you miss stuff. That's the
yeah,
point of the review. Sometimes you miss
do,
things
right,
and you're supposed to go back and say, okay, well I missed, this and I missed this. I need to concentrate more on that and more on that. That way when the test comes, I can fly through the test and I can graduate.
right.
All right? Okay. Okay. So, I was talking to V backstage about um uh oh damn, I had it. It was in my head and now I hate it when that happens.
I know, I
It
know.
was basically about oh, I remember. It was a time in my life when I needed to learn how to heal myself. This was
Right,
before the
yes, yes.
divorce and I was very sick. I was stressed out. I was so stressed out. It wasn't just trauma. It wasn't just PTSD. It wasn't just anxiety or depression or any of that.
Yeah.
But
Well
on
done,
top of
thank
that,
you.
there was other stress, and I was so stressed out that I was
Uh,
consistently gaining weight. No matter what no matter what I did,
yeah.
I could not lose weight. And that's actually in my medical records. I was seeing a nutritionist
Wow.
and I was on the
That
diet and
happened to me
everything.
too. Yeah. Just no
And
matter what you did. Yeah.
yeah, and I was morbidly obese, and they were monitoring me, they were monitoring my food and everything, and they're like, I don't understand why you're gaining weight. I mean, you're consistently fucking gaining weight. Every time you come in, you've gained more weight.
Mm-mm-mm.
It adds up,
Yeah,
so
and
I'm fluffing
that
out it
really does a number. Um,
on
I'm
everything.
sure on men, but on women, it really does a number on us.
Well,
When,
yes,
when,
because our menstrual cycle
yes,
is very heavily um, influenced by our weight. And so
right.
not only was I morbidly obese, but I was also bleeding like a stuck pig. And
Oh, wow.
I should be specific when I say the American doctors were telling me that there was nothing
Yeah.
wrong. And I was wearing towels, you
Don't you
know?
love that? I
Oh,
love
yeah,
that. Nothing's wrong with you.
nothing's
That's
wrong
all
with
in
you,
your
but
head.
clearly,
Nothing's wrong. Yeah.
yeah, I know that. But you know what? Not being able to get help
Oh,
was part of the stress. And
right.
but I also did well what I also did not know is that my husband was going behind me talking to all these doctors and telling them I was a hypochondriac. That's why I
Oh,
wasn't getting any
Lord, have
help.
mercy.
I did not know this at the time, but yeah, that happened.
Yeah, so
So
of course
seeking
they're
my
listening
own.
to the husband, yeah,
Oh
and
yeah, you
looking
got to
at you
listen to the
like you're
husband because the husband fucking knows everything despite the fact he's
right,
never home and he's constantly on fucking deployment. He knows exactly what's going on in the house at all times. Dumb
right,
soldier
right.
ass ego bullshit. That's army up and
Uh-huh.
down. Anyway, we're going past that.
Yeah.
Trying to seek out a way to heal myself of multiple
Uh-huh.
things, trying to find a diet that I would be able, trying to manage my stress, just putting forth effort, putting forth effort. I came across this book called Sacred Woman by Queen Afua, and honestly, I have to recommend it because it did work. It did work for a while. Um, it did. It lessened the stress. I was still gaining weight. There was nothing going to stop that. Um, but it did help me put in, and it was a stepping stone that was going to help me later on. I went through the 9 gates of purification way back then, and so Later on, after the divorce, and um, shortly, I was probably a few weeks after my decision to um, do shadow work. Well, at the time I didn't know it was shadow work. I was doing what I thought was right, and then of course my incorporeal divine guide was there, kind of guiding me, asking me, "Hey, where are you going to start? I mean, what are you going to do?" And I thought back to Queen of Fu and the Sacred Woman, and I was
Mm,
like, "Well, it worked when I was sick. It helped me when I was sick. It helped me to purify, because part of the nine gates is, going on a diet, fasting. There's no sex, there's no
right.
alcohol, there's no drug. I mean, it's lots of juicing, lots of meditation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, breathing exercises. I
Hold
mean,
on, nurse
it's
is here.
just
I'm
all
gonna mute real quick because my nurse is
okay.
here, but keep talking.
Okay. So, I thought, start where basically when you start shadow work, you need to start where you know to start. Start with what you know. And that's what I knew. So that's where I began, was with the Sacred Woman. But it brought me to this. It brought me to this. What am I willing to sacrifice to get better? You see, at the time, in previous, when I was, obese, and I was bleeding like a stuck pig, I felt as though I had nothing to lose, and that I would be able to. I was willing to sacrifice everything to get better. Food, comfort, anything. I was running up and down, because we lived on the third floor when we were in Germany. We lived on the third floor, so I would spend time every day going up, and well, obviously I wasn't running because I was fucking morbidly obese, but I was walking up and down those stairs, despite the fact it put hell on my knees. I did not give a shit how much pain I was in. I walked up and down those steps multiple times every single day to try to lose weight. Well, I didn't know at the time it was putting extra stress on my body. At this point, there was no exercise that was going to help me. It was just stress, plain and simple. But later on, when I went through the nine gates again to purify me, because of the divorce, and because of, my life was going all bad and everything. I was overindulging in alcohol. The sex that I was getting was not good. It just wasn't good. It was unfulfilling, and it was also toxic. I mean, the dudes were toxic. They didn't take care of themselves. I wasn't taking care of me, and that gets put into you. You absorb that. I didn't want that anymore. That's the reason why, I'm holding out for a dude who will take care of himself. Is because I need to know that he's not going to be putting any toxic bullshit into me. Not down for that diet.
Hey,
And
Gems.
sex is definitely not the best exercise. People want to say that
Uh,
because they want to believe it. But the
yeah.
fact of the matter is, it's not. It's not healthy,
Well,
especially if you are having sex with somebody who is not healthy themselves.
right. But if you're having sex with a healthy person, yeah, it can be some really great exercise,
Well,
actually.
yeah, well, it could be. It
If
could
you're with the
be,
right person, if you're with the right person, and yeah, but
but it
I
can't be the
agree.
only exercise.
No, no,
No.
you're right.
Yeah.
So I gotta take some medicine, so I'm gonna mute again, but
Okay.
I'm
But
here.
part of this diet is abstinence, celibacy, and really cutting down on what you eat. You know, fresh vegetables, fresh juices, no meat, some fish. But at the time, I was willing to sacrifice anything to get better. And so the second time I went through the gates, I was in the same way. I was, um, well, there are men who don't take care of themselves either. They expect the woman to take care of them, which is, I ain't down with that. Um, but that's another show. Anyway, I was willing to do anything to get better. I was willing to sacrifice anything to get better. I was willing to look at my shadow. I was willing to accept the fact that I was a complete piece of shit. But the thing is I also know that I am strong enough and I have the ability to transform that. Okay. And so I was willing to sacrifice almost anything to get better, to make my life better, to do things better, because I knew that I could do it. I knew, and it was, and anything that I did, even if I'm not guaranteed at the end, it was worth it to make the attempt. It was worth to try. Whether I succeeded or failed, I could die tomorrow and I could look my maker in the face and say, you know what, I may have failed, but I gave it my 100%. Not only did I give it 100%, I went beyond the call of duty and I sacrificed everything for that risk to get better, to do better, to be better. Okay. So it is difficult for somebody who's been on this path for a long time to accept that there's not a lot of people who are willing to make this sacrifice. They're not willing to jump off the cliff like that. And it was never made so apparent to me until this morning when I was doing my shadow work. And that is where we come to the Apostle Paul. Now, a lot of you are, if you follow, a lot of you know that I am not a Christian. However, that doesn't mean that Jesus and the apostles don't have wisdom of their own. They are still spiritual leaders. And I still, of the of the apostles, I do respect Paul. I like Thomas a lot. And I think those are probably my two favorites. Paul was very down to earth. And that's because he is the one who God turned him and gave him sight. Okay, he was the one that was the bad guy gone. He saw the light. He went good. Okay, and so he has a perspective from a position in which he walked his shadow. He lived his shadow. He was not living in the light. But he made an active choice to change that. So, because his name was Saul, but when he became an apostle, when he was called into service by God, he changed his name to Paul. Okay. I want to read out of this book, because Paul and you may not know this, but Paul and Jesus both talked about the shadow and shadow work, and a lot of what they were saying was not understood at the time it was being said. So Jesus and Paul were actually being accused of being crazy, mad, and raving lunatics, and at one point was also accused of being possessed by the devil. If I doubt that, but ha 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 ha, Jens, that is a funny thing. I'm slapping my knee.
I'm back.
It's a knee slapper.
Possessed by the
All
devil.
right.
Is that what you were saying?
Yes. Paul and Jesus were both accused of being possessed by the devil.
Possessed by the
Yes.
devil.
Yes.
Right. And
Because they were
Jesus
talking
was
about,
also accused of, yeah, because he was accused of casting out devils by the devil. And he's like, how would I cast out the devil by the devil?
well, because the devil commands the lower legions.
Yeah, but Jesus was like, that's stupid.
I know,
Yeah,
but
because yeah,
some
yeah,
people are just
yeah,
stupid. I mean, what do you
yeah.
want?
Right,
Okay, all
right,
right.
right.
Um, but Jesus and Paul both talked about confronting your shadow. That's the reason why they associated this with devils and demons and all that, because that's true. But that's
Yes.
another show. But that's another show,
Right.
Eastland. That's
That,
another show.
yeah. And we're
Yeah,
gonna do
that's another
that.
show.
We are
Yeah, oh
definitely
yeah,
gonna
oh
do
yeah, we're
that.
gonna do that because Kathy
Yeah.
has got some very
Good
definite
stuff.
opinions on that. But that's, like I said, that's another show.
Right.
Okay, all right,
Yeah. But we're
all right.
doing that.
So
Maybe Wednesday we'll do that.
Wednesday
Since
was
we had
idealism
something.
versus
That's
realism.
right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay, so
So
all right,
go
I
ahead.
am going to hold on. The seven this little snippet here. The seventh chapter of the Epistle to the Romans gives an excellent example of someone, the Apostle Paul, describing in revealing, frank, and transparent detail his struggle with the shadow. So Paul talks about shadow work in the
Huh.
Bible,
I did not.
the things the church don't tells you about. All right,
Right.
all right. And Paul describes
Huh.
this activity as warfare. Okay, now,
Warfare.
uh,
Oh,
yes,
spiritual warfare.
it is
Okay.
spiritual warfare.
Okay.
Yes, because it's the
Yes.
war with you. Okay, all right. Now
Right.
listen. Okay, now I'm going to start reading, so everybody be quiet.
Okay.
All right.
You mean me?
All right.
Okay. I'm even gonna go as far as mute so I don't.
Okay. The apostle was aware of his, quote, dark brother, to use Jung's term, and saw in it a combatant against which he must strive if he is to gain spiritual growth and wholeness, and that is individuation. So the apostle Paul knew about individuation because Jesus had taught him this. You can use the angst in his words as Paul reports the raging war, that's his word, that is taking place within inside himself, Paul. The, in fact, the verses 14 through 15 of the seventh chapter of Romans could accurately be titled Angst in Action. In this autobiographical snippet, Paul discloses essential material about the shadow. Moreover, he illustrates for us firsthand what confrontation with the shadow is like. It is as though we have a crack journalist on the scene describing the battle in vivid detail for us who is at once engaged in the combat himself. To say the least, the shadow is capable and crafty. Paul writes, we know that the law principles for living is spiritual, but I, Paul, unspiritual, sold as a slave to sin. I do not understand what I do, for what I do, I do not do, but what I hate what I do. Okay, I know this is it's really biblical stuff. Okay. Um, okay. Let's try that again because I know that sounded confusing.
Yeah. It's I in other versions. It's why do I do the things I hate and don't do the things I know to do?
Correct. That we're going to use that paraphrase.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I being Paul know the difference between good and evil, and yet for some
Right.
reason I always fall back into my bad
Right.
patterns, my sinful nature.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Who
Let's
will?
see.
And
Okay.
then it goes on. Who will save me? Oh, you will.
No, no, no,
Who's you? Yeah, it does
no,
say that
no,
in the
no,
Bible.
no. Yes, I know, but I'm reading from this book. We're taking the Bible out of
Okay.
it. Please take the
Okay.
Bible out
I
of it.
got you. I got
This
you.
is
I
also
got you.
being
Okay.
paraphrased. This is also being
Okay.
paraphrased too. All right.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay, so basically it is, why do I always fall back into my sinful, into my bad
Patterns.
behavior
Right.
patterns? Shh.
Hmm.
And because I desire to do what is good, I want to do what is good. I cannot carry it out. What I do is not good. What I want to do is good, and yet I still keep doing evil stuff. Okay. When I want to do good, evil is right there with me. For in my inner being, I delight in God's law, but I see another law at work in the members of my body, waging war against the law of my mind and making me prisoner of the law of sin at work within my members. I am a wretched man, and through Jesus it will be saved. He said, "The end. No, okay, all right. We're gonna move on from there, okay? Because basically, it's basically in that is Paul saying, I want to do good. I intend to do good. I plan to do good, yet I fall back into these bad behavior patterns. Why am I doing this? Okay. And it's, and so now I'm going to go back to the book. There was an ongoing tension in Paul's life between his true spiritual self and his shadow self and old nature. And by the time Paul wrote this epistle, he had been earnestly pursuing spiritual development for many years, but yet the battle continued. Paul had not arrived. Why is this so? Because the shadow is ever with us. Proportionally, we may diminish its stature. We may see it grow weaker in its power and control as we grow towards individuation, but we will not eradicate it, nor would we want to, which is true. You need your shadow. It's there for a purpose. Okay. Now, this text also says Paul cuts right to the core of what fighting the good fight is all about. On behalf of the friends to whom he is writing, Paul poses a rhetorical question to himself. I know that all God's commandments are spiritual, but I am not. And Paul replies, well, yeah, I'm full of myself. And then he says, what I don't understand about myself is that I decide one way, but then I act in another. And it goes back to what he was saying before, that this is a common feature with people. Okay. So when somebody first proposes to pursue his psycho-spiritual development, there is usually a brief elation and enthusiasm followed hard by predictable sequence. First frustration, then confusion, then a sense of failure, followed by depression, and then despair. It's very simple. He has commenced a civil war within himself. Okay, now, this is the very same war that goes on with new, quote unquote, newborn Christians. Okay, they do the whole, they go to church, they're saved again. They do the whole, they're going to church every Sunday and they're praying every day and they're doing what they do, but then they fall off the bandwagon. So there's this period of peak where they get really fanatical. Oh, my sister did this. Oh, and that's, yeah. She went through several years of this where she would be reborn every, I don't know, like every year and a half, 2 years or something. And then she would go into this fanatical behavior pattern. And then suddenly she's right back to the way that she was before. Yeah, yeah, that's too cliche, Eastland. Let's move on from that. The whole which wolf do you feed? Yeah, everybody knows about that one. We're beyond that. That's kindergarten stuff. Thinking on a higher level, what are you feeding the wolf? What are you feeding it? Because you have to feed both. So what are you feeding it? And regardless of what I mean, if you give the darker wolf garbage, the darker wolf is not going to be healthy enough, and it's going to become feral, and it's going to start attacking everything in its path. That is going to grow, it's going to rage, and it's going to explode in you, whether you like it or not. Your shadow will have its day, or your dog will have its day. You have to be conscious about what you're feeding it, but that's another show. All right. Where were we? Oh, falling back into behavior patterns, falling back into your previous behavior pattern. Okay, you have every intention on following through with your shadow work. You make plans, okay, and then you fall off the bandwagon. It's okay to keep trying. It's okay to keep I probably it probably sounded like I was condemning her for her peaking. Her, she goes and she gets saved, she becomes fanatical, and then she just falls off the bandwagon. A lot of people do that, okay, because they're not willing to sacrifice whatever is necessary in order to accomplish that goal. Because I'll tell you what, some of the stuff that I've been sacrificing and surrendering to, I don't like doing it. I'm tired of doing it. Okay, all right. So it goes on to say that in the early days and weeks after one has committed herself to the journey, the elation and the sense of gladness, such as that beginner simply cannot imagine, is happening. And then finally, given heed to that great inner voice, such as joy's relief, it's interrupted. It's interrupted. The spiritual newborn has been interrupted, and it's a common issue. And this is because um I'm getting to it. I have to skip through the text here. Here we go. The early days of young seekers are their life is thrown into chaos and conflict that they have never seen or dreamed of before. This is the time that you can share with them, not only from Paul's explanation, but from your own experience as well. They will be ready for your words now as they were incredulous to them days before. That's because when you try to tell a new spiritual person that there's shit going down, that it's not going to be easy, that they're going to have to walk a hard path, they go, oh yeah, it's okay, it's good, I'm ready. Oh, that's not going to happen to me, I'm prepared. Yeah, it's good. And then the tower happens. Well, that's because you're turning around to face your shadow. You're not welcoming in the light. You're not being saved from the shadow when you're taking on this enlightenment. What you're doing is you're turning around. You're turning around to face that shadow. And there are some things that shadow reveals to you that you're not going to like. There are some things in that shadow that are happening in your life that you didn't realize before that make you feel like a piece of shit. Holy fuck, how can I have let that happen? Or how could that have happened to me? Why didn't I see that before? That's going to cause a lot of chaos and confusion. That's like walking into your house and realizing all the junk you have. It's just laying around, all these you trinkets and shit gathering dust. It's just shit to clean. And then you're laying around the house beating yourself up because you can't clean your house because there's so much shit to clean. Well, you know what? Get rid of your shit. Oh no, we can't do that. We can't get rid of our stuff. Well, why not? They don't know what to answer with. Sometimes people equate possessions with value. The more possessions I have, the more value I have. It doesn't even matter what kind of possession it is. That's where you get hoarding from. That piece of garbage on the floor has value because I have value and I need that value. Dude, it's a piece of garbage. Throw it away. No, 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 no. I might need that. This obvious answer is throw that away. The value is not in that piece of paper. The value is you. But if you're not in a spiritual position to accept that, you can't move on. That's your shadow. It creates conflict and it creates chaos because it asks you to do things that you normally would not do for the betterment of yourself. So instead of doing the true agreeable thing, or the true disagreeable choice, taking the true disagreeable choice, you're taking the false agreeable choice and still being stagnant in the life that you are already living. Okay. All right. Okay. Those who go through life living in the shadow are, in the sense, the living dead. Well, that's true too, because there's no growth. We're zombies. If there's no growth and it's just stagnation, you are a spiritual zombie. You're not doing anything. You're not going anywhere. There's nothing there. Now, this book goes on to say, check this out. Well, okay, well, it says the self turns into the battleground because your lighter self wants you to grow, wants you to change, wants you to ascend, but your shadow is like, no, 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 we ain't doing that. All right. But and the book goes on to say that the shadow is not subject to the principles of spiritual development. It has no desire to be. Well, that's true. It wants you to be safe. It wants you to be secure. We know this life, even though this life sucks, we know this life. We're comfortable in this. We don't want to take the chance. Okay? And that's pretty normal. However, that makes you spiritually dead, right? But the shadow is always telling you the truth. It's not lying. It's telling you the truth. It's up to you to face it or not. But the fact that the shadow doesn't want to develop spiritually doesn't mean that it won't. Because as you yourself keep making the attempt to break through that barrier, as your logical ego mind moves forward slowly, progressively, your shadow has to follow along. So if you in the early days, your shadow is heavy, it's an anchor. That's why it's a Capricorn energy. That's why it's depicted as the devil, because devil energy is heavy. It's like lead. It's like pulling around an anchor. But as you continue your shadow work, that shadow becomes lighter because you become lighter. And eventually you come together and the shadow becomes more comfortable with transformation. The shadow doesn't pursue it, you do. But as long as you pursue it, your shadow will follow you. It's up to you to make that path. The thing here is, this is very, very difficult to do. And if you want to know a secret, this book goes on to say that that's something that Paul could not do. The Apostle Paul could not get beyond his shadow. He couldn't get past that. That doesn't mean he wasn't spiritually enlightened. He was. But Paul never gained the individuation that he was searching for. It's amazing to me that I could achieve something that the Apostle Paul could not. And I take for granted that not everybody can do this. I take that for granted. I just assume that everybody is as strong as I am, and that's just not true. It's difficult to have compassion when you are not in the understanding that not everybody can be as strong as you, not everybody can be as enlightened as you, not everybody is dedicated as I am to my path. I just automatically assume that everybody's putting effort into their own lives. But this is not true. Not everybody is putting in the same amount of effort into their spiritual lives. Not everybody's putting the same amount of effort into their careers or their motherhood or their fatherhood. It just depends on the person. It depends upon the journey. And I forget all the time that not everybody is like this. And so I forget how far I've come. I forget how much I've achieved. And it's a surprise to me when I look back, because I say, I didn't do anything special. I just wanted to be healed. I just wanted to find healing. I wanted to find me. I'm just me. I'm nothing special. I'm not a chosen one. I wasn't sent here, with some, I wasn't like, I'm not like some messiah. I'm just a human person walking my path the best that I know how. I didn't realize that this was such an amazing thing. And while I'm grateful to have it, I also feel very lonely about it too, because I'm at a position where I'm in this intermediary position between worlds. And I'm thinking, how the hell did I get here? Not that it's a bad thing. I'm just, how did I get here? And how am I supposed to express myself to people who aren't going to listen? And even if they are going to listen, they're not really going to take anything I say seriously. I mean, if you're not taking Jesus or Apostle Paul seriously, what am I supposed to say to make people or to help people? Which also brings me into this understanding of my own spiritual battle, which is, how long do I wait? And actually, this may seem like I'm going back to Loki, but this time I'm above that. How long do I wait for other people? I mean, before it wasn't necessary. How far ahead of the pack do I walk? And why do I have to be alone up there? I'm just trying to figure out how I'm supposed to be a leader, because it's clear that I am. And it's weird. Is anybody there? I guess nobody's there. Well, that's just it. Okay, so when coming together with the shadow, I think you must be able to control your shadow for the good of the universe. It's not about controlling your shadow, it's be finding a compromise. Star Trek episode showed the shadow as an oily, slick, we get stuff and thoughts. Yeah, I suppose you could interpret it that way in that moment, but to be sure, but to not be sure who is one and face the shadow and learn how and what you really are. Paul is talking about how it cannot be done with willpower. I do the thing I don't want to do. I do not do the good I want to do. And then he says it's inner work. And, well, yeah. What do you mean wait for people? Believe in free will. Realize that people do not hear until they're ready to give up boredom and habits. Yeah. You type slowly. I find the short format hard to express complex thought. Yeah, I'll definitely agree with you on that one, Eastland. It's difficult to express everything that you'd like to in the shortness of the texts. Well, gee, thanks, Jens. It makes me sound like an asshole. But okay. Hmm. Well, I suppose I am an asshole when you get right down to it. Hmm. And I'm not bitching about anybody not listening. I don't think I was bitching. Did it sound like I was bitching? God, I hope not. I don't know. I guess it's because I want to be I want to be a proper leader, you know? Who's that dude that did Waco? There was a dude that did Waco. He was a leader, but he was an asshole. He had people listening to him. He didn't do right by them, that's for damn sure. Leaders also listen. So if nobody's listening to the leader and the leader needs feedback, how am I supposed to be how do I know I'm doing the right thing? How do I know I'm doing the right thing for the people that I'm leading? I don't get it. I don't think that's right, David Koresh. He was a leader. He was an asshole. I mean, you can say that about a lot of leaders. There was a lot of leaders who said a lot of things. They didn't listen to who they were the followers. They didn't listen to their followers, and then they led them right down the fucking right into hell. I want to make sure that I'm doing right by the people who are listening to me, by the people who are. I mean, I'm not saying I want to be like president or something. I'm certainly not going to lead anybody into battle. But as a leader, my if the people who are listening to me, like legitimately listening to me, need clarification, I need them to talk back. I don't get a lot of talk back. I don't get a lot of that. Compromises don't tell you what to do, but you don't ignore it. That is incorrectamundo, dude. Your shadow does not lie to you. You can't ignore it. You have to compromise with it. For example, I'll give you a good example. People want to split off and drink different. It's the same thing from the same root. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, Heaven's Gate. Yeah, he was a leader too, and he told all of his fucking followers to drink the Kool-Aid. What did they do? They drank the fucking Kool-Aid. You have a responsibility to your followers. If you're a leader, you have a responsibility to your group. I need to know that they're listening in the proper way, because I don't want to lead sheep. I want to lead intelligent people, because I'm not just leading, I'm following too. There are plenty of times in a group where the teacher becomes the student and the student becomes a teacher. It's all reciprocation. If your group isn't listening to you and you're not listening to your group, it's just me pulling out bullshit. I don't want to do that. That's not good leadership. So yeah, I think a reasonable amount of bitching is necessary. So sorry, Jens, I'm gonna dismiss that. And compromising with your shadow is giving your shadow what you want, but not in the way it expects. Okay? My shadow kept coming on to me without a lot of explanation. Here's a perfect example. I spent a lot of my life with tendencies. I fought myself all the time because I wanted to die. And I attempted to do so 4 times. Oh shit, that's one every decade. Well, fuck me running. Damn. It got to the point where I just couldn't handle it anymore, because it wasn't going to succeed. No matter what I did, it wasn't going to succeed. Okay? So what I did is I wrote a story in which I died. I gave the shadow what it wanted. I committed suicide in a story. I also committed ego suicide. I also committed spiritual suicide. I had Sherlock Holmes solve my murder. I was giving my shadow exactly what it wanted without giving my shadow exactly what it wanted. I reframed it. And you know what? It worked. It worked. I haven't had I haven't had a serious thought of that in in a long time. Years. 7 years. So the shadow work at the very least works on that part. Giving the shadow what it wants works. You just have to be creative about it. Oh yeah, oh yeah, that was Jim Jones, applesauce. Yeah. No, I don't have a plan. It's not about, you can't plan something like that. People come in and out of your life too much. Well, okay. So this is how it works with me. A group of people will become enamored with me. They'll think I'm really cool. And I'm not normal. I'm very unique. All right. They think I'm fun. They think I'm exciting. They like my sense of humor. They like my smile, blah, 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 blah. It's all superficial. And then they figure out that I'm not just some stupid ass blonde teeheeing my way through life. I actually have a brain and I'm intelligent and I like to talk about serious topics. I'm not just intelligent, I'm also wise. I'm extremely versatile. I'm flexible. I'm a lady. I'm a queen. I'm an empress. I'm creative. I'm transformative. And they get scared because I make them feel bad. I make them feel bad without, I don't even, I don't, it's not something I do. I'm not a bully. I make them feel bad and they go away because they don't want to. They just want to live their life the way that they've always lived it. And for whatever reason, I bring out in people a desire to either be better or to run away. I haven't come across a lot of people who want to be better. So I try to show off the realism instead of showing the ideal. I try to show the realism that this isn't an easy thing. I struggle just like everybody else. I'm not a god. I'm not a messiah. I'm just a regular person. And regardless of circumstances, I still strive to go forth and do better every single day. I wake up and I make that choice because I can't imagine not waking up and not making that choice. But it's not a thought, it's not an easy thing. It doesn't just come to me. There's struggle, there's ups and downs, there's emotions involved. There's spiritual warfare involved. I'm often in battle with myself. I'm often in battle with my emotions and my ego. I don't just click my fingers, it takes effort. Just a little bit every day. But there are some people that just don't want to do that and they get scared because they think that it's easy. They think, and they fall off the wagon and I never see them again. So I'm still on my wagon, wondering where everybody is. That's exactly it. And that's what that text was about. That's what Paul was talking about. Is that not a lot of people, when they figure out that it's it's difficult. Facing your shadow is difficult because you have to face all the darkness before you can enter the light. It's scary. It's fucking frightening. I understand. So what do I offer? Do I offer the ideal or do I offer the realism? There is this imbalance that I cannot resolve. How much idealism is appropriate to attract people, to keep them? Idealism is almost like a mask. It's not exactly lying, but it's lying just enough to make me uncomfortable. Hey, Jeff, what's up? The insecure ones who do not want to put in the effort, do not want to see reflected in you the choices they did not take and the times they really did have a choice but said that they did not. Oh my God, Eastland, that really resonates. I've been thinking about that a lot. It's not my fault. I did the right thing. Not just because it was good for other people, because it was good for me too. I did the right thing. And, you can make all the right decisions and still fail. So, how can I be an example feeling like I failed doing the right thing? How can I be a leader? How can I be asked to do this if I can't prove anything out of it? That's where I'm at. That's why Loki got his mouth sewn shut. No, they don't. They don't. You're right, Eastland. The inner workings of humans do not produce much proof. Not much. But those who are awake can see it in the actions because that's where the proof is. It's in the action. And I keep doing the right thing. So the action is still correct. Even when I try to do the wrong thing, I still end up doing the right thing because I can't do anything else. And it puts me into a situation where I'm not acceptable because people need a mask. They need one that they can attain. They need one that they can achieve. And I'm not it. I'm not the choice. I'm tired of being a unicorn. And now it's too late for me to change that. Because once you've gone up, you once you've ascended to a certain level, you can't go backwards. And I wonder why. I wonder if this is the reason why spiritual leaders are more often than not single. Even when I want to do the wrong thing, even when I want to do the wrong thing, I can't. So I guess I answered my question. I guess I answered my own question. Because for me, the question was, and it was me struggling with, do I wait? Do I keep waiting? The answer is yes, because my shadow won't leave me alone. My shadow keeps saying, wait, you're a bitch if you don't wait. You're a bad person if you don't wait. And my shadow has been on me heavy, heavy. And it's not just the grief thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Paul did, yeah, he stopped judging himself. He did, and I think that's one of the first things about spiritual ascension is that you really have to stop judging yourself and accept you for who. And once you accept yourself in total for who you are, all your flaws, all your weaknesses, all your sins, all of that, and you look at that and you go, okay, what can I do to make that better? Start small. The little sacrifices that you need to make in order to make that better. If that includes, I'm going to stop drinking because I want to be a little bit better. It could be even, I'm not going to drink as much, you know, even that is an improvement. I know I went through that. I'm not going to drink as much. I'm going to dial it back, squirrely down about 20%. When where you have no control and only bear no responsibility. Well, that's true too. I think I'm being asked. That's what it is. My friend fives me no influence there. I have no responsibility there. I don't understand that word. Yeah, Darth Haster. It's from Letterkenny. It's a joke. It's a pop culture joke. If you haven't watched Letterkenny, you wouldn't have gotten it. It's okay. If my friend fives me, no influence there. I have no responsibility. You mean if your friend gives you a gift of $5 or something? I don't understand that. Yeah. Okay, Jens, I get it. I hear voices too, but they don't tell me to do bad things. If the voices tell you to do bad things and you know that you're doing bad things and you know the things they're telling you is to do bad things, he deserves to be in prison. Okay? Seriously. Yeah, yeah. Most humans put efforts and energy where those efforts and energy will never pay out. No, you're right about that. You are absolutely right about that. Investment. Where do you put your investment? Well, it depends upon where you want the payout. Strictly speaking, I got what I wanted. But when you ask a child what they want, generally speaking, they give you the high ideal. They don't understand what the world is about. Friends do not give you influence when you bear no responsibility. where they have not given you influence. That be true. I'll agree with that one. And that one's something to ponder. That one's something that's worth pondering. I'll put it into my meditation, see what answer comes out of it. Find the small sphere of control and slightly bigger sphere of influence and put your efforts and energy in there. Yeah, on principle, I'll agree with that one too. Majority rules on that one. Look within your sphere of control and influence, which is more likely a pitchy fog. Yeah. But we're beyond that one too. Hello, butterflies. We're a bit above that one too. That control what you can control, which is generally yourself, and influence what you can influence, which is basically yourself. Which is true, but when you're in a space of maintenance, okay, and you're being asked to step up by when divine source says, okay, you have been through your tests, we can see what you're doing, you pass with flying colors, you're able to maintain, you're passing on that. So while you're maintaining that, now we're taking you up to the next level. We're leveling you up. So now I'm in the beginnings of something one more step up. And while I was in the last step, I already had felt isolated and secluded and kind of almost cast out. So if I'm going up one more level, how much more disconnected from my from humanity am I going to be feeling? That's where I'm at. Because the disconnection from humanity to a higher connection to source is a grievance in itself. I am grieving that. I mean, and I didn't even have a good connection before. It was a shitty connection. Now I'm being asked to leave it behind. I don't even know how to, I don't even know, do I want that? I mean, I already feel like crap. There are no nuns for pagans. There's no temple I can go to take vows. Okay? And I'm definitely not going to convert to Catholicism. I can't possibly be the first of my kind. Where do I go? What do I do? Is this really that new of a path? It can't be. Simple idea, but hard to apply. No shit, yeah. Would have been here if I saw my son today. Well, I hope you had fun, Darth. Yeah, he was a bit slightly retarded too many times, but either way, he should have had good self-control. Yes, Jens. If you and that's the whole that's the choice chart I was talking about. The choices that you make are actually doubled. Okay, you have the concrete, which is it's either the true or false. It's either a good choice or a bad choice. True or false, concrete. But then you get into the abstract, which is agreeable or disagreeable. Okay. If it's for example, hypothetically, if I really, really, really hate somebody, I mean like really, really hate somebody, and I've hated them for a very long time. And then I have voices come to me and say, hey, you know what'd be a good idea? Yeah, you should go do that. Okay, so I know that that is to do that would be a false choice. But man, it sure would be agreeable. That dude gets on my nerves. I wish I could throat punch him. And then there's the true, which is not to do it, which is disagreeable. Yeah, you know what? He's an asshole, but I know that I should not do that. This dude actively made a choice to do something he knew was false but agreeable because it's something that he wanted to do, and the voices gave him an excuse. That's how demons work. The demons give you the rope. Angels don't give you rope. Demons will give you rope. They won't hang you, but they'll give you their fucking rope to do it. And they'll even point you to a tree. That's his fault. He did that. Demons didn't do anything. Awesome, butterflies. Am I seeing a false dichotomy? I'm open to that. I'm open to that, Eastland. Seriously. Maybe I should look at it as a higher connection with a higher vibration of humanity, and I'm getting unplugged from the lower vibration, and I'm getting ready to get plugged into a higher vibration. Is that what you're saying, maybe? Okay, Jens, I think you should do more human stuff. Listen to the heart, then descend into the higher realm, as you will be there sooner or later. Well, okay. Well, Jens, what do you mean by more human stuff? I don't understand that one. I don't know either, butterflies, and it's part of that empathic. It's part of that empathic issue that we all have. I mean, well, as women, we all have that desire to love, with no conditions. That unconditional love. We want to nurture, and we want to think the best of everybody. That deep down everybody is good, and this is true. However, their actions, and that's what their stream was about, was falling back into bad habits. People really do have good hearts, but some of them are just not strong enough, and they need to soothe themselves. They need to give themselves excuses to say that they themselves are okay, that they themselves are everything is fine, that they themselves are doing, the right thing, that they're the ones that are helping by taking over your life and controlling everything that you do. I'm doing the right thing for you because I don't have enough strength to do it for myself. But talking about false dichotomies, that's a false dichotomy there. If I can't control me, how the fuck am I going to help anybody else? This is and that's also another point of where I'm coming from. That if I feel like I'm a failure and that I'm failing myself, how can I sit in a position of leadership or a position of example, tell everybody, hey, this works and that works, but inside I feel like I'm a fucking failure? That's a lie. I'm lying. Am I lying to you to make you feel better? I'm lying to make me feel better because I don't actually feel that. And then later on, when I go home, my shadow is looking back at me going, you know, you're a liar. Congratulations. You weren't exactly truthful. So then I have to listen to that bitch talk me down about how I'm a liar, which I didn't intend to be. I just wanted to help myself and I wanted to help other people. What I thought, what I thought is the right thing to do is what I thought the right way to go. But if my shadow is coming to me and saying, hey, you're not being truthful, well, what the fuck am I not being truthful about? I don't know, but you're a liar. Well, gee, thanks a lot, Sherlock. I could use 10 clues right now. She shrugs and walks off. Fuck you. Oh, whatever. Not you guys. I'm talking about my shadow. The interaction between me and my shadow. Sorry. Mm. Bible poll. Yeah, Bible poll, correct. Yes, that was at the beginning. That was at the beginning of the show. Demons did nothing, but if you believe in the other side, then they were partly to blame in my mate's action. Nope, they weren't to blame at all. Demons are not to blame. They just give you the choice. Exactly. Not there's there. You're right. There. It's not an excuse to hurt others. That's true. It's not. And in an ideal world, that's what it would be. But we don't live in we don't live in an idealistic world. We really live in a realistic world in which people who desperately need to feel better or to alleviate pain, whether it's physical or mental pain, will literally do anything to alleviate that, which also includes hurting other people. So they're willing to hurt other people to make themselves feel secure, to make themselves feel better. Being fair and just to others doesn't mean cheating yourself. Being kind to others does not mean being kind. Yeah, I'll agree with that too, Eastland. Out of control persons trying to control others is not a false dichotomy dictionary meaning. It is not. It is a lie to yourself. Okay, well, all right. All right. So I'll change the verbiage on that one. Human stuff like listen to music, get out and meet people, and talk more down to earth topics. Kind of hard to do in a quarantine. It's also difficult to do when you're talking about groups. Humans love to click. They love to make little cliques, little inclusive groups. And it's difficult to get a foothold in. And I am not joining a church to do that because there's a lot of toxicity with church. I just don't want to do it. Okay. No, I didn't say I didn't believe in demons. I absolutely do believe in demons. I don't understand what that was about. Well, wait a minute. Darth knows I believe in demons. Oh, that's just okay. That was just something he was saying. Okay. We must sit in the uncertainty long enough to decipher what is in front of our eyes, and if we leap to conclusions too soon, we get very shallow truths. Yeah, that's why I meditate. Oh, okay, all right. Out of control must face truth, and if not, they must take unearned power over others to feel better. You said it as I was. Yes, yes, yes. Gonna lay down. Well, have a great nap, Darth. Yeah, truth is always the answer, but it's so hard not to say something to hurt someone else's feelings. Once you do, tell the truth to people, and you feel so bad about hurting someone else's feelings. Yeah, thanks for stopping in, butterflies. I agree. Bingo. Bingo's at church. I'm not. No, there is a bingo group. It's over here at the Catholic Church. I'm not doing it. Never said join a church. I'm becoming as it's like it hurts and then it feels and looks better. Honestly, I wouldn't know where to go. I wouldn't know where to go to try. And honestly, I'm gonna tell you something. I fear that, because I tried to do that last year and it ended in disaster. You what? Wow, you won already. What? I don't understand that, Jens. V, are you even alive? It's been an hour and a half. I didn't want this to be too long, but it's, yeah, you won already. Go to your truest, most inner self. I don't know who that is anymore. I used to take pride in the fact that I was a geek, you know. I used to be very comfortable in those types of groups. Not so much anymore. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe she's just, yeah. I wonder if she like fell asleep or something. I won at bingo. Oh. You think I'm going through an identity death? I'm open to that. I'm going through an ego death. Going through a spiritual death. I might be going through an identity death. Geeks are not turning into soy nerds with WandaVision. I'm sorry, Jens, I don't agree with that. Because I would rather be a soy nerd than a toxic fireball pitching angry man. I'm just so tired of it. I would rather drink my soy milk and eat my vegan food than listen to somebody spew hate into the microphone. I'm just done with it. I don't care about standing up against saving IPs. Stories are meant to change, and sometimes they change into garbage. And then we make them better again. That's how it works. That's how it always has worked. Just it sounds like you were going through an identity death. If you could courageously stay in uncertainty, you will be your real self. Stay in the uncertainty. Oh, no.
I fell asleep.
You,
Sorry.
we thought maybe we did.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm really, 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 really not having a good day, y'all. But
There was
keep
no,
going because it's
yeah.
interesting.
Well, if it was interesting, it wouldn't have put you to sleep.
No, it's just the medication's putting me to sleep today.
Okay.
I'm really
Well,
tired after yesterday. Still,
um,
my body's just not my body's just not right. Yeah.
yeah. Well, Eastland,
At
that's
least
another
I had
show.
it. Yeah, and at least thank you guys. At least I had it muted so you didn't hear me snoring. I couldn't have slept that long. Let me see. Let's see, I'll tell you when I fell asleep. I fell asleep around the wolves when Easton was posting about the wolves. So Easton's been here the whole time. Awesome. And Jens.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
it's a different topic, and I'm yawning. I'm done with it. I'm just
Are
fucking
you?
done with it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could talk about something else. Or, I don't know.
Well, I'm
Oh,
done. I'm done with this
are you
subject.
done?
I'm done with, yeah, I'm done
Okay.
with this subject too. Yeah. I don't think
Okay.
there's anything more to, I don't think there's anything more. I mean, Eastland gave me some stuff to think about, which
Yeah,
it was a good
she's really pretty
conversation.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Easton's good at that. And
Mm.
Jens still here? Yeah, he's still here. Yeah.
Counting to five, knit
Uh,
one, knit two, purl three, or knit three, purl two.
ah, ah,
Yeah, something like that.
ah, she's sweet. She's a sweetheart. And Jens is a sweetheart too. I'm surprised Jeff
Yes,
B didn't
Jens
pop
is.
in.
Yes, just because I'm disagreeing with Yen doesn't mean that I don't like him. Like I like you very
Yeah.
much, Jens. I think you're awesome.
Are you
I think you're
disagreeing with
awesome.
them?
No, well, we were pleasant. I hope we were pleasantly disagreeing. I
Oh,
didn't
I'm
want
sure
that to.
you
I didn't
were.
want to turn. I didn't want that to turn into like some kind of
Argument?
right. I
Yeah.
sorry,
There's
Yen.
a
I didn't.
difference.
There's a big difference. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't want to be like all up in his, grill, being
Yeah.
like, oh, you know.
Yeah. 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 I get
What do they
that.
call that? Oh, SJW Karen style. It was not. It's not like
SJW
that.
Karen style. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Ugh. Yeah, I just think my body is just really tired from yesterday because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Again, I'm just not sleeping. Yeah, I'm really not. I'm just like sleeping here and, an hour here, an hour there. Um, but anyways, so well, I'm glad to have hosted this.
Me too. I'm glad you did too. Thank you, by the way. I'm very
Sorry.
grateful.
Oh no, anytime, anytime.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
good. Yeah, see. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good stream.
Oh,
Even Darth
thanks,
uh, Darth and
Jens.
Butterflies stopped in too.
Oh really?
Yep,
Oh,
yep. He must
okay,
have
cool. Oh man, I missed them, damn it. Yeah. I don't how long was I asleep? I must have been asleep for a minute.
at least an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I'm all like crunched up here in the bed and oh my god. I feel like
Did you
crap.
turn into a rubberneck baby?
Yeah. Yeah, I
that's
did.
that's good sleeping. That's good sleeping right there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was that medicine. It's that oxycodone, man. That fucking shit knocks me out, man. But I need it for the pain, but I'm only getting it every 12 hours, thank God. Because I'm really concerned about um grabbing a an addiction.
Right.
Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, last thing I remember is doing that uh I got oh my gosh, some sit and spin shit. Sit and spin. Spit and swish and spit stuff in my mouth. Yeah, sit and spin. Yeah, I got to sit and spin. I'd like to have a sit and spin. That would be fun. My nurse today has like a badass tattoo. It looks like one of those. Do you remember that? It looks like a kaleidoscope on her forearm. But you remember those things that we used to do with the little plastic thing, and you sit there and you would put your pencil in and you would roll it around the thing, the little plastic thing, and it would come out all these
Yeah,
like
yeah,
spiral
yeah,
things.
yeah. The spiral
Oh, I
thing. That's
had the name for it. I had a
it.
name.
It's called a Mandela. The design on there.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm trying to think of the name of the little thing that the game or the little thing.
Isn't it called a spirograph or something?
That's it. That's it. Yes, yes, yes. And it had different wheels and different like yeah, I could do that for hours. I want to get me one.
They still sell them.
Do they? I'm gonna
Yeah,
get me one. I'm gonna get me one.
spirograph.
Cause I
See, yeah, there they are.
yeah, yeah. Uh spiritual what
No,
is
no,
this?
spiritual. I don't know. Spiritual shatch. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Jens, I think maybe you might have to respell that.
It's about spiritual.
I'm like, did she? Okay. Says she's there, but I don't know. She goes in and out. I liked WandaVision. What was wrong with
Uh,
WandaVision?
Here we go again, man. Me in the phone and and pushing myself, poofing myself off again.
Hmm.
What are you talking about? One division.
Oh no, I was just like
Oh.
I liked WandaVision. It actually it helped me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had a very similar journey than
Oh.
as Wanda. I mean, me and Wanda or Wanda and Vision in WandaVision. Wanda and Vision equals oh okay, okay, all right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry that made you bored.
No, it didn't. It's
We
just me breathing.
oh, well, it sounded like you snored.
I know. I snort. It's weird. It's a new
Oh,
thing that I don't even know what's going on with that. That's crazy. No, you're not making me bored. Trust me, girl. It's not you. It's this medication. Um, yeah, it's just this medication. And when I take the baclofen and the oxycodone together, they both make you sleepy.
mm,
So yeah, but I've never like passed out like this. So that's a little concerning. Maybe I'm just
mm,
so tired that that's just what's happening. You know?
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I
Well,
can barely keep my eyes open.
okay. Well,
So
we can go. Well, we can go. I'm
okay,
done with it. I'm done with
all
the
right.
topic.
Well, thanks
S-
everybody for stopping by. Sorry I fell asleep on my own stream, but that's something everybody can laugh about
Oh,
later. Um,
Spiral Sketch. Spiral Sketch is the UK version of Spirograph. Okay,
okay.
okay, I got that. Okay, okay.
Okay, okay. Oh, very funny, very cool.
I'm gonna
So,
throw you in a bathtub
Jens and
someday.
Eastland, thank you for stopping by.
Yes,
Darth and
yes. Thank you, Eastland.
Butterflies, thank you guys so much. And again, I can't thank Kathy Starr enough for coming up here and sharing all of the wealth of information that this lady has. I mean, we talked offline a lot, and we have some good conversations. And I can't wait for Wednesday. So Wednesday we have Wonderful Wednesday with I don't remember what I called it, but anyways, it's going to be about what, Cynthia? Um,
Idealism versus realism.
realism. That's it. I
Yeah.
do. Yeah, versus realism, and so that'll be coming up Wednesday. Now Monday or Sunday or Monday, I think it's Monday, is the super pink moon. So y'all watch out for that because that's going to be really beautiful. It's gonna be such a beautiful moon. That's really we see the pink flowers out here under the pink moon. But I don't think it has anything to do with the pink moon. But then what do I know? But anyway, so yeah, so that's coming up. That's going to be beautiful, and my station again. You guys never know when we're going to pop up. But thanks for being faithful. Thanks for following us. Thanks for watching. Everybody who's watching now, later in the future. Yes,
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. +5.
yes, +5. Love you. Bye bye.